Hello and welcome to Top Plays. I am your host, Blue from KantoCast, and this is the series where we take a look at some of the best plays from the weekly matches during Season 5 of the GBA. Week 10 has come and gone, and it's time to look back at some of the more memorable moments. The prep this week was pretty solid, so in all honesty, it was actually kind of difficult to find some top plays. But you know what? The creativity and predictions were still there, so we got it done. Let's look at some of the best action from Week 10. Conkeldurr is a beast, and here we have a play from the Sawsbucks Arcaniners match that demonstrates it. Conkeldurr being in on a Mega Lopunny will usually result in a loss for Mega Lopunny most of the time. But a +1 Megalop is definitely something to be afraid of. With the temptation of being able to potentially take out a huge offensive threat, the Sawsbucks were forced with a somewhat difficult decision. Try to take out Lopunny, or predict a switch. Fighting the temptation, the Sawsbucks predict a switch, and out comes Rotom. Rotom has always proved to be a valuable member on the Arcaniners team, and unfortunately for the Arcaniners, Conkeldurr goes for knockoff. The knockoff prediction KOs Rotom before it gets a chance to do much of anything. The Rotom KO was a big win for the Sawsbucks and helped them go on to take the match in a 2-0 victory. When we think of Mirror Coat in the GBA, we tend to associate it with Melodic. It's a clever approach to try and pick up a quick KO, and it was demonstrated in the Rampardos Hawlucha's match. But here we have a different water type utilizing the special counter, Blastoise. The move was a little unexpected, and seemed a great way to handle threats like Heliolisk. Here, Heliolisk goes for a Volt Switch, meaning Mirror Coat would do massive damage to whatever was coming in, and it turned out to be Starmie. Mirror Coat takes Starmie all the way down to 5 hit points, just barely missing the KO. The Hawlucha's prep would prove to be too strong, however, and despite the creative set, the Rampardos would go on to lose against the Hawluchas in a 3-0. The Pelipper's Pyratitas match was absolutely solid. With two strong teams like this going head-to-head, there was bound to be a play during the match at some point, and it was actually the second turn. It was Archeops versus Donphan, and on turn 2, the Pelippers make a big prediction and go for a knockoff as the Pyratitas switch in Jellison. This turn really put the Pelippers in a good position, as not only does the knockoff deal nearly 50% damage to Jellison, it also gets rid of the leftovers. Jellison has proven to be an incredibly reliable wall for the Pyratitas all season long, and this turn 2 prediction helped cripple that wall for the remainder of the match. The Pelippers would go on to win in a very tight 1-0. You want some prediction plays? I'll give you prediction plays. Although, if you saw the Mankey's Donphan match, then you've already seen them. But if you haven't, here's a highlight. The Mankeys were in a tight spot, and Sharpedo needed to start making some plays, and boy, did it. Late in the game, Sharpedo is in against Slowking, and predicting the switch into Tangrowth, the Mankeys go for an Ice Fang. Lo and behold, that's exactly what happens. With little damage done, however, Sharpedo is forced to switch out. Later, Sharpedo comes in on a predicted Psychic to absorb the attack for Venusaur, and then doubles out into Alakazam predicting the Tangrowth to come in for Slowking. In this matchup, Alakazam goes for a Shadow Ball predicting Slowking to come in for Tangrowth. Once again, however, it's not nearly enough damage to clinch a KO. In a match where the Donphan had prepped incredibly well, it was going to take a lot for the Mankeys to pull through. And despite the plays being made, good prep was too good, and the Mankeys take a 5-0 loss for the week. Lucario is a little frail, so it makes sense that a substitute would definitely benefit it. But this Lucario set worked out just the way the Deoxys had envisioned in their match against the Sea Kings. Lucario is in against Mega Sableye, and the Deoxys begin to hope for a Will-O-Wisp. Prayers are answered, and as Lucario gets comfy behind a substitute, Mega Sableye goes for a Will-O-Wisp. Next, Lucario sets up a Calm Mind, and the Sea Kings switch out into exactly what the Deoxys wanted, Slowbro. Now the subbed up +1 Lucario fires off a Dark Pulse, and deals out massive damage. With a lucky flinch, Lucario Sub is able to stay up a little bit longer, and Lucario is able to freely go for a Stab Flash Cannon the following turn to finish off the Slowbro wall. The Lucario Sub helped the Deoxys pick up a 2-0 win for the week. And once more, it's time to crown the reigning top play. Last week we had a face-off between Gift Giving Scizor and Double Dance Venomoth. In what was an incredibly close 55 to 45% vote, Gift Giving Scizor came out on top. With only a few weeks left of the regular season, we're coming down to the wire. Will Gift Giving Scizor clinch the reigning top play of Season 5? Or will Lucario sub up and upset at the last minute? You decide by casting your vote via the straw poll link in the description. And while you're down there, feel free to stop by the comments and let us know what your top plays of Week 10 were. But that's going to wrap up this week's top plays. I am KantoCastBlue, and I will catch you next week with more top plays from Season 5 of the GBA.